Hey friends, it's Julie Hamilton. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well today. I've been trying to come to you all day with this, but between dentist appointments and running and working, accounting, you know how it goes, dinner, the usual, all that kind of good stuff. I just haven't got to it till tonight, so I hope you'll bear with me. Anyway, so I'm talking about something a little different today. I can imagine you might be saying, why are you talking about dyslexia? And here's the deal, I'm not talking about dyslexia. What I'm talking about is what we can learn from perceived limitations, okay? So I'm gonna name some names for you, and I think you already know what they have in common, but I think you might be surprised. Let me name some names. George Washington, Winston Churchill, Walt Disney, Jay Leno, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Steve Jobs, Muhammad Ali, Richard Branson, did I say him already or not? Charles Schwab, Henry Winkler, Jim Carrey, Ansel Adams, Agatha Christie, Andy Warhol, and 3 of the sharks from the Shark Tank. Hey Jake, guess what they all have in common? All of those amazing people have dyslexia. And they say about 35% of entrepreneurs actually have dyslexia. It's a really huge percentage. That's like over a third of people that actually, I'm gonna touch this and see if I can get better lighting for you guys. I'm trying to work that out, but anyway, sorry. So anyway, about 35% of entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, have dyslexia. And I don't think it's any coincidence. And I've been thinking a lot about it because I've been reading this book right here called Ask Gary Vee. It's about Gary Vaynerchuk, and it's him answering his questions, and I started thinking about it. If you don't know, we've been through this journey with dyslexia in our own lives. I don't have it. My oldest daughter started reading when she was like 3. I never actually really taught her to read. Sarah's like, hey, hi Sarah. Hey Christian too, awesome, I'm glad you're here. So with this, my oldest daughter, she started reading when she was like 3, and I barely taught her. I just said, oh, here, make these sounds. She would always ask me what sounds the letters make, and I'd tell her, and she started reading full sentences. My second daughter, when I was a teacher, and I was also Title I director for our district, so I specialized in people who were behind in reading and math, so I went to a lot of training workshops for that kind of thing. I will say hi to Damien too. Thank you, Christian, good to see you. And so when I started realizing something wasn't right with my second daughter, it was probably end of 1st grade or beginning of 2nd grade, and we finally figured out she has dyslexia. So we homeschool, so this is something that I deal with every single day. It's very familiar territory to me. I spent the next 2 years, once I figured it out, to learning everything I could about dyslexia. And one of the things I was really upset about is that the school doesn't treat it as a disability. They don't call it a disability. And at first I was just so frustrated about this. Like, how can you not? They need, help. I mean, everything I already knew as a teacher wasn't good enough for dyslexia. It wasn't working for dyslexia. Michael Jordan never made the high school basketball team. Yep, that's so true. So many stories like that. So anyway, so this is my real life every day. So we deal with dyslexia. We did dyslexia therapy every day for 7 months. I'm just telling you all this so that you know that this is what I deal with on a daily basis. And anyway, I'm reading this book, and this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, he grew 2 $50 million businesses in 5 years. He's kind of like a social media guru, and he comes up with these really creative marketing. He runs a marketing company right now, and they come up with these really creative things. And I actually got him on Twitter, and I said, hey, I noticed your struggles and your strengths, and I'm wondering, have you ever been diagnosed with dyslexia? And he said, no, but I might have it. And I wrote him back, and I said, well, that is probably one of the reasons that you come up with these amazing ideas that are so creative and out of the box is because of dyslexia. And it got me thinking, I should tell you guys why dyslexia makes amazing entrepreneurs. Number one is that when you have dyslexia, you know you need to hustle. I know when I have dyslexia that I'm not going to read this sentence one time. I'm going to have to read it 4 times to understand what I'm saying. So I'm already coming into the game knowing that I'm going to have to work harder than everybody else just to keep up. So that is one reason I think dyslexics are really good at the hustle. They're really good at committing to it, at knowing that they need to work and putting the hard work in. And I think that makes a whole big difference. And then the second reason that dyslexics make really good entrepreneurs is because the same reason that my daughter could sit down and write from left to right or right to left, she doesn't have that regard for the rules that we have. We've been learning about capitals and periods since we were in kindergarten, but that she doesn't operate within the constraints of convention. And of course it's frustrating when you're trying to write a paper, but let me tell you something. You want to be an entrepreneur that blows people away, you have to get outside of the constraints of convention. You have to get creative. Like for example, my daughter loves to paint, but she doesn't just paint. She would paint with pine cones. She would paint with seashells. She would paint with weeds. She would get a box and put paint all in the bottom of it and roll marbles around on the paper in the bottom and with this paint to find out what kind of patterns it makes. And she's like, 7 at that time, a 7 and an 8 doing that. And those are things I would never even think of. They were so far outside of what I think of painting that it just totally blew my mind of like, wow, these are ideas that are coming. So people with dyslexia actually have a very special gift, and that is that they can think outside the constraints that you and I, our neurotypical brains, work a certain way, but dyslexics see the world in a whole different way. It's not just that they see letters different or they see whatever different. It's not that. They see the world in a different way. They see a world of possibilities, a world of creativity. And what we need to take from this lesson about those limitations that, like I said, they wouldn't consider it a disability, and I was frustrated about that, but now I'm starting to realize, no, this is a gift. This is a gift Walt Disney had. This is a gift George Washington had, Winston Churchill had, Ansel Adams had, Andy Warhol had, Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, these are people that change the industries that they're in, and it's because they have this gift of being able to think outside the constraints, and their brains think differently, and they dare to think differently. Think about Walt Disney and all the stuff he dared to bring on the scene. George Washington, how he dared to change the future of a nation because it was outside of what had been done before. So anyway, I just encourage you with that, and that's what we have to do. Whatever limitation you're facing, I just want to encourage you to turn it into your asset. So for me, one of my limitations as a homeschooling and working mom is I feel like I don't have time to pursue the things that I want to pursue for Life Builders. That's my YouTube channel, Julie Hamilton Life Builders. But I need to make that an asset by learning how to use my time wisely. So you might have you feel like it's a limitation of not having enough people on your staff. Then you need to learn how to get motivated, how to motivate people, motivate volunteers, draw on extra resources. So take your limitations, your perceived limitations, and turn them into something that will actually be an asset for you, because it actually can be an asset. So anyway, I hope you guys, bye Miranda, my oldest, here, come here and say hi, because they never see you, they only see Livy. Yeah, come over and say hi. This is my oldest. Hi. This is Miranda. So, here. Okay, all right, bye, love you. See you later, have fun, okay? Anyway, I hope that gets you thinking about the things that you see as your limitations and how you can change them. And I hope you guys have an awesome evening. And this is for you, Gary Vee. All right, bye, you guys. Bye, Christian. Good to see you. Take care. Oh, Jake, to your point, I just heard a thing today about how a scout came and saw this basketball player, and he wrote down average athleticism, average height, he's not a good point guard, like all these like 13 negative things about him, wasn't impressed with them. It turned out to be Steph Curry. So anyway, those limitations, they don't mean anything. All right, talk to you later. Bye.